meth causes you to be very secluded. And so we had our own lives. And it was very fragile because I don't think we ever really got a chance to know each other. We never did. We just had so much fun, and then it was just drugs and, sex, and that's it. But then we moved in with each other. And again, another recurring theme, distanced my parents, because now I look back and it's because I'm ashamed. Like, this isn't the kid that my mom wants. How can I talk to my mom? I'm a freaking druggie, But I think towards the end of that relationship, it was just me coming to grips with, this isn't what I want to be. How do I get out of it, not knowing how? So I go back to, you're not doing it for me. You're not what I want. She's like, what do you mean? Just constant fighting. Like, we were the couple that would fight in the apartment complex. And then the neighbors would be like, shut the fuck up already, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, just leave her, or just leave him. He's trash. And like, neighbors are like, it was a soap opera for them. But we were that couple.
Wow.
And it's because now, again, when I look back, I mean, it was just nothing but drugs, sex and drugs.
Welcome to Guys That Listen. I'm Peter, and today we got special guest Shamel on the podcast.
Hi, everyone. I'm a guy that listens.
Hey, that's a good start. Introduce yourself to the audience.
I was introduced. My name is Shamel Amin. I am Egyptian born, American raised. Been here pretty much my whole life. I think we moved here when I was 3.
Oh, wow.
Been back a couple of times since, but I'm as Cali can get. I've been here my whole life. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna leave.
Oh, wow. I mean, I know after the last podcast that you were here to watch, we went out on a Duffy boat in Newport Beach. That is pretty Cali, SoCal, to be specific.
Duff boys for life.
Oh, you're Egyptian. You came here when you were about 3. I don't know anything about the cultural difference with Egyptian culture. Can you kind of give me an idea of what that's like?
100%. And as I've grown up, I've come to find the easiest way, because everybody understands Mexican culture, because we're in California.
Yes, sir.
There are so many similarities. It's all about family. It's all about your mom rules the house and dad just has that crown, but it's all symbolic. And there is a lot of cultures from that part of the world are the same, and where it's all about the parents. It's all about the family. My uncle is able to raise me just as much as my mom and dad are able to raise me, and then aunts and so on and so forth. And so culturally, we are where it's at.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Oh, wow. So it's like when they say that phrase, it takes a village. You guys live that lifestyle.
My aunties have beaten me just as much as my mom. Yes, it definitely takes a village, and they take it to heart because you are a reflection of the whole.
Gotcha.
Where I come from.
Was there anything growing up that you felt you didn't understand because to you that was not American culture? I'll give you an example on my end, right? So when I was young, I went back to Vietnam when I was like 5 years old.
Okay.
And I came back here, and all my family out here was saying, in Vietnamese, they say map, which means he got fat, right? And he's like, oh, damn, he got fat. And as a 5-year-old, I didn't know how to interpret that. So I had the feeling of shame when I was like a 5-year-old kid. And then I stayed skinny for a long ass time until my metabolism just stopped giving a fuck.
Caught back up.
Yeah.
There were I like hearing that because it is different. I felt a lot of shame when I was young, and it wasn't because of anything other than I was a goofball. So I'm bald now, but I had the curliest hair as a kid. It was always just a rat's nest afro.
The Egyptian locks.
There you go, right? And I was I like to pride myself now that I am old enough to understand it. I like to pride myself on the fact that I do see things differently. I like to think of them differently. I'm very much into reading. I'm very much into writing. I love the English language. I like to poetry and get lost in my imagination. But as a kid, growing up, dark skin, nappy hair, and you were different because like I'd show up to school with pita bread and hummus and people would laugh at me and I'm
Oh,
like, y'all are
wow.
missing out, right? But I didn't know how to articulate it back then. So I was an outcast because in my mind I believed that I was different when in reality, I just they just didn't know. So yes, in a way, I would agree. Like I was man, it was some dark times, dude.
Oh, wow.
Like all of us, I guess, as kids, had our own version of it, especially if we're not from here.
Yeah, it is different. May I ask, growing up, those schools that you went to, what was the predominant ethnicity that was at those schools?
The answer is yes, they were white.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
so I grew up, let's see, when we were in LA, don't remember much about school other than, well, I mean, because like really the earliest memories of school when I was in LA were like third grade because I skipped a grade. I skipped from second to third,
Oh, wow.
but I needed to be put back into second grade, right? Because I was good in some things, but I wasn't good in other. Like I was really good in English and imagination, things that really worked in the second grade school or class, but really failed when it came to third grade. And so, but I mean, school back then was just about recess and lunch.
Yeah.
And so I was cool then. It wasn't until we came out into the Inland Empire. I grew up in Rancho Cucamonga, and that's as down home country as you can get,
Oh, really?
I believe Rancho Cucamonga is the pinnacle of the IE, and that's not a compliment in any way, shape, or form. Hats off to Rancho Cucamonga, though. I am the man I am today because I was able to experience desert life, Rancho Cucamonga is the OC of the IE.
Oh, really?
And it's a bunch of people that want to be, they want to be Orange County. The women with the fake tits and all the plastic surgery, lifted trucks was their thing, and it was very much, bros. That's the best they could be. So I was always a little dark, a little different.
At what point did you feel more comfortable in your skin where you were okay with standing out?
Junior year in high school.
Oh, wow.
I literally started because I was a nerd, a hardcore nerd or geek, freshman, still into Star Wars. And that kind of alienated me. And then, you'd hang out with the people that you could talk to and hang out with. And then it was when I became a cross country runner and I started getting to become friends with them. And then they were kind of the in between. They were kind of cool with the cool sports people, but then they were also like on that side of the sport, like still on the outside.
They're not quite the football player, but they're still an athlete, right?
So you start mingling. And then that's where I actually learned that my love for the English language was going to be the way out of everything because I could just, I love the sound of my voice. And I'll just talk.
I love the sound of my voice.
I just talk and talk and talk. And I love conversating and people love to hear me tell them stories or whatever it was or anecdotes or crack jokes. And I started gaining an audience and it went right to my head.
Wow. What do you mean by gain an audience? Like what were you doing exactly?
The people, I wish I had like back then, now you say gain an audience, I'm a YouTube star, I have a great podcast or something. But back then it was just people that didn't mind being around me anymore. Like it wasn't, they're like, oh, hey, Shamel, what's up? And they'd come in and say hi to me. I'm like, I'm cool. People that would remember you where you always thought in your mind, I'm just another one of the masses. It's like, no, I'm standing out now. Then I joined the badminton team.
Badminton.
Took it all away.
In Rancho.
Yeah, well, I was actually ranked in CIF. I was in the doubles, though. I needed a partner. My partner was Rohan Shah, a deft little fellow. He was quick and sprightly, and he played the net better than anybody. Oh, wow. And I was kind of big, so I had some power. I was good in the backcourt. And
sounds like a good partner.
Loved badminton to this day.
Outside of high school, what did you end up doing after that? Did you? You obviously didn't stay in the IE.
No. Stayed in the IE. I stayed in the IE for a lot longer than I wanted to, just because, again, culturally, like it's hard to move away from your parents when your parents just don't want you to move away from them, right? My parents have always created an amazing place for me. And so my parents, whenever they were they were living overseas because that's where my dad would work. Their house is empty. So I stayed behind to care for their house, and it became my house. And then, I'm working either in Torrance or in Newport when I finally came to Newport, but there was a lot of commuting. So shout out to my Jetta, my little Jetta diesel that I had for 10 years. It gave me like 600 miles to the tank. Love that thing, right? But a lot of commuting. And so, I stayed in the Inland Empire probably. I didn't cut ties until like about 7 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I'm 45 now. So that was pretty late in my life. And really it's because my parents were over, they just finally they're living overseas. I'm like, I don't need to be here. I can come visit them when they come back into town to visit us.
Yeah, I mean, that's reasonable. It's not like you have to really cut ties, right? But it allows you to kind of be around if they're coming back too, which makes a lot of sense.
That's what they make you feel like, though, right?
Yeah.
Why are you leaving me? I thought I raised you. I'm like, I know.
Always
Mom,
be their baby, no matter
I'm
what.
a man, though. I promise.
I'm a man, Mom.
I'm a man, Mom.
Let me leave the nest, Mom.
Right? Let me go, Mama.
Nah, dude, they'll never do that, dude. They'll never do that. They'll always ask you the same questions they asked you since you were a teen. I had fun with my mom today, and she was like, "Oh, what if your ex?" Because she knew she knows all my exes, but she mentioned a specific one. Like, what if your ex came back today? Would you still love her? I was like, Mom, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? I have not really talked to her in like 10 years. Why the fuck would you say that?
Her, Mom. What's going on?
And she's like, what's wrong with loving her? I was like, what the? She's my ex for a reason. How do you? I don't ask if you miss dad because my parents are separated. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Maybe you should.
Hey, Mom, maybe I should have thrown that back in her face, you know?
But so like it's crazy because that's your mom viewing the world through different eyes. Like in some way she cares for you and it led her to worry about your loneliness, whether you are or not. And so she thinks of things, and I'm just relating your mom to my mom because they're the same, obviously, that my mom does that all the time. And so my mom does it because she doesn't want me to be alone, not knowing that I'm perfectly fine. I'm my own damn best friend. And I'm cool with being alone. Like, I don't mind silence. I don't mind lonely walks. I don't mind going to the movie by myself. I'll go to Disneyland alone. I'll ride my bike alone. And I'll love it because I'm the only one that can really hold a conversation with me that doesn't drive me crazy sometimes. Oh, wow. You know? Because it's a chaotic world we live in.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting take. Just because when you say that, if you were to describe that as someone else, I would be scared if they're lonely, right? You know, but you being at peace with it is very different.
So I had to be at peace with it. So not to completely hit us with a left turn, but later in my life, as I am now a lot more mature and a lot better at being introspective, I can look back, and if my mom asked me that same question your mom asks you, would you feel the same way? I know what the answer is because that's why I have a line of exes. That's why I don't currently have somebody with me now. It's because I am difficult. I am challenging. I am that way that I am. And so my journey is, in order for me to be able to ever give a part of me to somebody, I have to figure out how to be okay with the chaotic parts of myself, the parts that could scare somebody. If you don't know me, it's frightful, but you get to know me, you're like, okay, I get it. Yeah. He's just, he's got a different drum beat in his head and he follows it religiously because it gives him a good path,
No, that's fair. So I don't want to get too deep this quick, but I know that you said you're okay with being yourself, your best friend. Does that scare you at any point? Do you feel like this is how you feel now?
Mom?
Because I want to be honest with myself too, because I've been single for almost November be 3 years. This is like no dating, nothing, right? Not even talking to anyone. And 3 years to a lot of people, they think it's a lot. To me, I'm like, oh, I'm actually completely fine with this. But then I was also thinking, like, at one point, my age hit me, right? 36, not even that old. But I started thinking, is this only going to get harder? Like the dating thing? And is that going to make me more resistant to dating because it's getting harder? Or am I going to be more okay with being by myself and not like settling for something that I don't really want.
So do you consider evolving your relationships to fill the gaps so that if and when you're ready for the relationship or whatever that is out there, if it is, in the meantime, you're not selling yourself short. I've evolved. I have friendships and then I have friendships.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's how I've come. I've found that I am so much easier to be dealt with in short bursts because then the storyteller, the charmer that I have been told that I am, that the wool is never pulled off of your eyes. It's always there. You're always in the cloud.
Yeah.
You're always in the mist. I'm always that, oh, he is so nice. And you never see the dark side of me.
Yeah. Wow. That's a crazy way to describe it because I totally understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Being a person where, weirdly enough, I don't try to make good first impressions.
Yeah.
But that seems to be my strongest point. Too bad there's not that much of a follow up.
No.
But we all try. And yeah, you're right because in short bursts, like the initial impressions probably could be pretty decent to very strong.
Yeah.
As far as like going into a relationship, like down the line, a year, 2 years, 3 years, you find out things about each other. So where, yeah, I can see very similar to you. I feel I could be very difficult to kind of handle sometimes because I try to see, well, it's not that, I'm sorry. I don't try to see things differently. I just try to lean into more how I truthfully feel as I get older.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people can handle truth, right? When you pull away a mask from something and you reveal its identity, people would rather be caught up in whatever facade or charade that makes it easy for them to consume something or deal with something. And if you look at things truthfully or try and lean towards keeping the truth as the element of reality, it's tough for a lot of people.
It is.
Because the world, it's not easy right now. And for you to be at peace always, it means that you have to look at things, difficult truths, and you have to be okay with them. You have to be able to either be direct enough to cut through bullshit or else you're living a lie.
Yeah, and that's tough, right? And again, I don't know how dating is now because I've been out of the game for a minute, but I can imagine as I've gotten older that you kind of do want to cut through the bullshit a little bit quicker, right? Just because you think about time and just kind of understanding yourself more too. Maybe not time, but experience, and you know like this is not gonna working the way it did before, right? You've been there, you've done that. Didn't work out. Time to switch it up, right? Let's be honest with each other. Let's not waste each other's time. That's like a big thing. I gotta ask you,
Go.
how do you feel about marriage?
I love the idea of marriage. I tried it once and failed.
Oh, you tried it once.
Which is okay. I should not have. And it's funny because now that I look back, I was young. I was 19. She was 24.
You were 19?
19. So at that point in my life, though, there was a lot of unknown. I was not anywhere near the man I am today. I was still very much a child. And again, this part of it isn't a knock at my parents, but I grew up very sheltered and very guarded for reason. I didn't understand it back then. I'm like, oh, my parents are they're punks, but my mom saw in me what I had no idea. She knew what I was going to become long before I became it. And she knew that if I was untethered in the world, I would have killed myself a long time ago. And so she was challenging and difficult to me because it was for my own good. And it's crazy. Oh my God, it's such a cliche, but you look back now when you realize that's that introspective that you need. Like, I can be honest with myself. I was a dumbass kid. And I, in spite of all of the protection that I had from my parents, I still got myself in trouble. I was the only one of my siblings to get multiple DUIs. I was the only one that spent nights in jail. I was the only one that did that shit, right? But it's because my mom knew I was eccentric and I was wild and I didn't mind that. And so at 18, 19, I had this hair up my butt where I'm just going to find me a girlfriend, and the first girlfriend I ever had, I just moved in with her. Stopped talking to my parents, and like 6 months later, heartbroken, they just showed up at my work and like handed me a cell phone and said, just use it every once in a while to let us know you're okay if you don't want us anymore. And I was like, what do you mean, man? I'm a man. I'm living my life, mom, dad. And through time, they learned to cope and deal. And I think 2 years later, it's so weird to be able to share the story now with the knowledge I have, because my mom, it got to the point where my mom was very religious. If you're going to live with her, at least, and, born a Muslim, I'm as trying my hardest to be as best a practicing Muslim as I possibly can. And in order for me to be able to live with a woman, I have to be in some sort of, in the eyes of God, it has to be sanctified, right? And so it was very much a religious wedding. And it was quick, and it happened, and it was done. And I remember while I was going through it, I was even telling Crystal, who was the girl's name at the time, I was like, it's just BS, dude. It's just a formality. Like, don't even worry about it. Like, we're going to be fine. Her parents, who, like, her mom was from Nayarit, Mexico. English was her second language, and she spoke very little of it, was crying because she was afraid that I'm going to whisk her away and take her to Egypt and put her in a freaking niqab and cover her from head to toe, and she's not allowed to go out in public. Like, there was a lot of ignorance around it.
Yeah.
And it was a circus, but through all of that, I remember I'm staring at my grandma, who's like approaching 80 at this point, deaf in both ears. She's blind, so she's wearing sunglasses because it was freaking rad. Just sitting in a chair, having the time of her life because, oh my God, I'm the only grandson that she saw get married. 2 months later, she passes away. A year later, this sham of a marriage is dissolved. Like, all of this happened for my grandma's sake. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, then I made a stupid mistake and nothing came out of it, right? Because I was a stupid child. And every relationship I've ever had has been just as much a whirlwind as that one. But increasingly more, I don't want to say chaotic. But as I grew up and I wasn't understanding of who I was and the tendencies I had, I need a clean house. I have a roommate that despises me sometimes because I will pick out the grain of rice that you did not wipe off of the counter, because why should there be a grain of rice on the counter? It doesn't belong there, right? I can laugh at that now and I can share it so candidly, but when you're a young kid and that throws you into a fit of rage because you think somebody isn't respecting you, that's not a household.
Yeah.
You know?
I can see that. So, damn, that's wild. So 19, you got married. A year later, it dissolved. How, I mean, now you can rationalize it as you did it for your grandma's sake. But then being a 19-year-old who is at the end of a marriage, how did you feel because I know people who are divorced now, all these motherfuckers are divorced now, right? But at 19, that you're still a child. To process that, I want to know what your thoughts were, because that sounds...
This is going to make me sound really bad, but I didn't give a fuck.
Wow.
Right? Because I got to a point where I'm like, this isn't what I want. And in my head, I was selfish. This isn't what I want. I'm going to walk away. Hey, bye, guys. Wait a second, but we have a house. We have this. We have that. You can have it all. I don't need it. I literally gave up everything. I gave up my TV, which was huge to me. It was a widescreen Samsung TV. It was like one of those, like the first slim rear projection. So it was like
really?
cutting edge, you know.
Top of the line.
Left my GameCube, and that's probably the biggest regret.
That makes sense as 19-year-old. Yeah,
But there
that
you
makes a
go,
lot of
you
sense,
see.
actually.
And so what am I thinking about? Like back then, I wasn't ready to think about another person.
Yeah.
So to have ever even thought it was okay for me to enter into that serious of a relationship, now I can look back and say, fuck, I wish I can go back and spare heartache to people that didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't care. I didn't give two shits. Right? And if those people hated me, they had every right to. But I erased it from my mind.
Yeah, but also you being 19, a lot of people gotta understand, right? Or a lot of people who are older than you should understand. Hopefully so, because I think now having friends who are in their 30s and 40s who are getting divorced, there is this idea of so much wasted time. Whereas 19, you could probably be like, I still have the rest of my life ahead of me. And I still think people in their 30s and 40s still do.
Yeah.
But that's in perspective of the person I am now. If when I was younger, I probably thought that was over for these people, But now being there myself, I'm like, okay, nah, you still got time. You could do shit, right? So 19, yeah, you get a chance to come back and heal and like figure your shit out, mature. But then you also said that every relationship was a whirlwind after that. That was slightly more chaotic. Why do you say that?
Earlier, when I said my mom knew what I was going to become before I knew that, that was like it was almost self-fulfilling prophecy. As I grew up, the next relationship was founded off of drugs, and it wasn't just drugs; it was meth.
Oh, wow.
And for a year and a half, imagine every single Friday for a year and a half, you just go on a bender because you had an awesome restaurant job where you made back then, this is 2004. So I'm making $500 a week and I'm a king. And I did that Monday through Thursday. So we'd pick up Friday, Saturday, sleep all day Sunday, go back to work and do it again. And Kelly was her name. Kelly was a beautiful, beautiful, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. Recurring theme starts now. With a very voluptuous body. And she liked country, which at the time I thought I hated. She was loud. She was obnoxious. She was vivacious, full of life. And I was like, I dig you, because again, I'm some charming gentleman over here, and she didn't deal with my bullshit. She's like, I don't give a fuck about it. You're not charming me. And I was like, wow, I can't have you now. I want you.
The chase.
And so up until that point, I loved chasing, women. But the moment I knew I can get them, I'm like, I don't need it anymore, because I was a fan of the chase. I wanted the hunt.
Yeah.
But she took it to the next level. And when she introduced me to drugs, I was like, wait a second, you're just casual. Now, mind you, remember, I grew up very, very sheltered.
Yeah.
So this was my introduction to drug culture.
I was about to ask you how you get into meth being so cultured.
It was freaking straight, and it was meth. We snorted it. We never smoked it. We never injected it. But I went from 0 to 1 million over the span of a weekend. And meth causes you to be very secluded. And so we had our own lives. And it was very fragile because I don't think we ever really got a chance to know each other. We never did. We just had so much fun, and then it was just drugs and, sex, and that's it. But then we moved in with each other. And again, another recurring theme, distanced my parents, because now I look back and it's because I'm ashamed. Like, this isn't the kid that my mom wants. How can I talk to my mom? I'm a freaking druggie, But I think towards the end of that relationship, it was just me coming to grips with, this isn't what I want to be. How do I get out of it, not knowing how? So I go back to, you're not doing it for me. You're not what I want. She's like, what do you mean? Just constant fighting. Like, we were the couple that would fight in the apartment complex. And then the neighbors would be like, shut the fuck up already, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, just leave her, or just leave him. He's trash. And like, neighbors are like, it was a soap opera for them. But we were that couple.
Wow.
And it's because now, again, when I look back, it was just nothing but drugs, sex and drugs. Not even rock and roll. If there was rock and roll, that would have been dope. But no, right?
Country, though.
2 out of the 3, there was country. That relationship lasted like 3 years.
Wow, that is a long time.
It's a long time. And a year of it was just, I was drugged out of my mind.
I gotta ask you this. When you left that relationship, did you leave the drugs behind too?
As much as I can be so addicted to something, I can quit everything cold turkey.
Oh, wow.
I to this day, I still thank God I have been given that ability, or else I'd be dead a long time ago. If the moment I say no, I can say no and I can do it. And so
It's-
hopefully that sticks around.
yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
That you could be into something for so long, because whether or not, if you have an addictive personality, the addiction could just be out of routine. And the fact that you could quit that routine and not stay addicted is pretty insane.
It was out of routine, but it was the routine. It was never the thing. So you can easily quit it, but I was never addicted to it, I guess. I was just doing it to just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Which is even more destructive now when you think about it. But I think that's why, like, I am very much a routine kind of. I do have a structure and I do have a process. You know, the people that know me, they classify me as the Virgo's Virgo. I have no idea what that means, but
Neither.
like, right? It means that, you know, like you can see me and my process, my systems, and I'm all about them. And the moment you interfere with those, we now have a problem.
Yeah.
And I'll make it known, and then the dark side of me comes out. Right? It's always there. It's always under the surface.
So I don't want to say that I don't want to hear about the next couple of relationships, but it
Let's
seems
go,
like there's a
dude.
couple of recurring themes. So, you know, I don't want to, you know, I kind of want to go more towards the part of your life that the pivot.
Pivot came 3 relationships later, because 2 relationships were, again, throwaway relationships where I really tried to be better. Every time I think that's something that I can sit back and be proud of myself, is that I'll fuck up till I'm dead, because that's just the nature of me, just trying to do everything. But I'll always learn from it, and I'll always come back and I'll always apply what I've learned to try and be better. And so the pivot came after Allie was her name, beautiful little girl from Utah, used to be a Mormon. She left that real quick. And I met her when I was working at 24 Hour Fitness. I left 24 Hour Fitness, but all my friends are still in it. She was a store manager. Literally, we locked eyes once, and it was like, you're going to be my girlfriend. It's okay. And again, just as quickly, we got to the dating part, moved in, spoke about our lives are forever changed. She's like, I'm going to buy you the Porsche. I'm like, I'm going to give you the freedom from your demons that you want. And no, you like a year and a half in, you learn that at that point, the mistake that I had made was I looked past every red flag that was before me, because I wanted a relationship that was going to work, because I'm 32. I mean, I can't do this. I can't be alone forever, right? At one point, my mom's going to be like, "Where's your wife?" And I'm like, "Here she is." And so I tried, and I looked past all the red flags that said this was not a human that you have a relationship with. And yeah, she burned me. This was the first one where I got completely destroyed. It's like when you look past the obvious, she's literally with everybody but you, not figuratively.
Oh.
And then I'm like, okay, I hit such a rock bottom, because I put myself into this place where it's like, I am the butt of my own life right now. People that know what's going on, they look at me like, wow, every time that guy comes up and asks me how I'm doing, it's because he knows my girl, who I am devoted to, is literally fucking his friend. And he's checking in on me. And I'm ignoring the reality because I don't want to believe it. I can win her over. I'm going to get her. That was the pivot, because I let go of everything that was me for something that I didn't even really want, but just because I thought that's what I needed to do and everything, I let go of myself. I lost myself. And then that scared me. I think I went into a dark hole for like about a good 2-3 years. Let go of all my friends, let go of everybody. Everyone's like, Shamel, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, leave me alone. I got to figure something out. Took to writing, wrote journals and journals and journals, and I just let out. I mean, there were tear-soaked just binders and books of just writing, anywhere from poetry or what I thought was poetry to short stories, just letting out some type of anger in me, because I had let myself lose sight of me. And, you know, if you ever come out of such a deep hole, you come out refreshed. You come out, all of a sudden the light's a little bit brighter. When you realize, oh my God, I did let go of myself. This is why I let go of myself. How can I never do that again? And then you start establishing rules. Okay, this is the type of man I now want to be. I'm never going to do that again. Boom, boom. Started writing kind of the booklet I wanted to be, the man I wanted to become. Nowhere near anything that, you know, I base that off of the type of guy that my dad is, but I'm nowhere near that. But, you know, from there, that's when I got the job at Apple. Because I'm like, well, what do I want to do? I want to work for my favorite company. Boom. Busted my butt, found the connections, network, did the thing that I do well, talked my way into an Apple job, and worked my way like that pivoting point was just because I let myself finally realize I was always okay with letting the bullshit through as long as I thought it was going to be good for me. But not realizing the consequence that has, what it eats away as. You lose yourself as a person. What the hell? I mean, you're nothing.
Yeah.
The reality, the shock when you finally open your eyes and you look in the mirror, that was a pivoting point. I didn't recognize that then.
Yeah, that's tough. Because I've seen people in that position where they ignore all the red flags. They lose themselves in this relationship for no other reason they feel like they should be in, right? It could be family pressures, societal pressures, the fact that they've dedicated so many years to it that they feel like, how can I give up now? So, you know, that was the pivot. That was the relationship that gave you the pivot. What was the breaking point that allowed you to see the red flags?
The night before episode episode 7 came, a Star Wars episode 7. I set it up like, again, I'm a hopeless romantic, so I had lightsabers and freaking lights all decked up.
Yeah.
I built a Lego Death Star and it was hanging from the corner. Like, I put on an event and we were going to watch it together. I was excited, you know. Sorry, not the night before it came out. This is the night it was going to come to streaming, to DVD, buy it digitally because we saw it in the theaters. But that night, you know, I had an event and it was one of the date nights that we were trying to have so that we can fix our relationship. 6 o'clock, she's supposed to be off work. She only worked 30 minutes away. Take you traffic, blah, blah, blah. 6:45, she'd usually be walking in the door. 6:45 to 7. So I had dinner ready. You know, it was pasta, nothing big, but still, I made it. 7 o'clock comes around, 7:30 comes around, 8 o'clock comes around.
Oh, wow.
Where you at? So I'm like, she got caught up at work near the end of month. 24-hour fitness was horrible to managers. Like, always freaking working late. So where you at? Nothing. Not responding to text or going through, but no responses. And then this is after now I know that there has been a history of infidelity. So now what starts creeping into my mind? Shit, what's she doing?
Yeah.
Even when she was working, she'd always be like, I'm working, babe, or something. And at least it would put me at ease. But then I start calling. First, I call her work. No answer. Then finally somebody, Allie left about a couple hours ago. Fuck. Then I ring her phone a couple of times. And finally she picks up. She's drunk. She's at a bar. She's at a bar with 2 people. And one of them I know she's fucking. So I'm like, what are you doing? Come on, come home. Come home, please. Don't do this tonight. No, I'm not doing. It's not like I'm kissing anybody. I'm like, fuck, what are you talking about?
Golly.
And so like now I'm crying. I'm sobbing. I'm like, don't do this. Like, this isn't how it's supposed to be. And then you hear him like hang up the phone and then click. And then phone turns off. Like, shit. So then I'm sobbing all night long, holding a freaking pillow. I watch the movie by myself. I eat my pasta by myself. And she comes home, not wearing her clothes, wearing pajamas that aren't hers. And she's like, again, she opens with, "It's not like I was kissing people, Shamel." And I'm like, why would you start with that? You know, like, I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. Her responses, she was so casual with, "Well, I'm not doing anything big." It's like, bitch, you ain't even wearing your clothes, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was such a slap in the face. It's like, I care for somebody so much that literally doesn't give two shits about me. And why? And that was their response. And then a day later, after I sleep on the couch and you sleep in the room, you come out and you're going to tell me, "I don't think this is really going to work." It's like, it hasn't been working. I thought we were trying to make it work. It's like, yeah, you know. I'm like, wait, you don't care about me, but I care about you. You know that, right? She's like, yeah, I do. And you're sweet, but I don't think I'm right for you. It's like, so casual.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like, I mean, that's where I was forced to realize the error that I was complicit to. Like, it was me. I was the one I was in the wrong the whole time. She was her. And she was telling me the whole time that's who she was. And I was like, nah, that's cool. That's my pride. That's my ego. I can change it. I got her. It's me. And so that night was the breaking point, because it pushed that mirror right up to my face. And she did her job to open my eyes, and there we are.
I mean,
Here I am today.
yeah, I guess
Smiling
silver
about
lining
it.
to it all. I guess. I mean, it sounds like she was being a shit person. Not gonna lie, as much as she revealed herself to you, but I mean, sound like she wasn't being truthful either, right? But I mean, if this is what you get, person with brighter eyes, then yeah, maybe you found the silver lining. That's great. But at the very end, though, man, that fucking sucks, bro.
A year later, when I came back to get the rest of my furniture and stuff, she did apologize. She was in a better place herself. So, she had medical issues and whatnot. I think one of them, she had told me that she was dying because of a kidney condition that I later found out was a lie.
Yeah.
And so I think finally, yeah, right? Because again, that was one of the things, like, the whole time she never really wanted me around. She wanted this whirlwind that would have lasted 2, 3, whatever years, and then it's over, because what guy's going to stick around with a girl who's telling him,
Yeah.
I'm going to die, right? And so I don't think she was prepared for me to be like, "Oh, I'm all in." So, wait, what? Every other guy didn't say that. So, maybe, it bit her in the butt. And then that's why when the next time we actually did come in contact, she showed genuine remorse. When you look at somebody and you can tell they're different, am I ever going to forgive her for the things she did? I don't even care about the things that she did anymore, because I'm not going to change you. That's on you and your judgment with God.
Yeah.
I'm going to be okay because I pulled myself out of it. But the silver lining is that you go through shit and you'll survive no matter how bad it is. And then, as long as you keep hope, I hope she's a better person today. I hope my suffering has taught her something.
It sounds like we both had our toxic past, right? And I think very similarly, like, we hope that not only do we grow out of it, but like our past significant others. And yeah, sometimes it is kind of hard to look past it, but yeah, like, why, for me now, I don't have space for hate. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. There's still some stuff that pisses me off, right?
Yeah.
But hate is a very fucking strong word for me, at least, because hate for me, it has to be something that I have to like dwell on. Like, whenever I hear about this person, or whenever this is spoken about, that brings up that like anger, then yeah, maybe. But I don't really feel that as much anymore. I think before it was the right emotion. That's what I thought. To get me out of those dark places, I had to be pissed off, and I had to be like destructive for me to get out of these relationships, right? And maybe that's how she was doing things, because as much as like I want to be like, damn, she sounds like a bitch, who knows what the fuck she went through to even get to that point? Because to be honest, like, the more I understand about people, it's like, you don't get to that point from nowhere. You're just not born like that.
Yeah.
Something has happened, and I'm not saying that means we should allow it or justify it, but at least understand it, right?
Yeah.
And it's not your responsibility to fix her. That's all on her.
She was broken, and that's part of the red flags that I didn't look past.
Yeah,
I can fix.
yeah. No, I definitely understand that. It's weird. Only until recently did I start thinking back at times where things were weird about certain people that I've dated, even myself sometimes. And I'm like, huh, I wonder where that comes from. Before I didn't really think too much of that. I just kind of looked at the person that was in front of me, and that's the way I saw things, but now that I'm less surface level with the people I meet. I want to get to them a little bit better. It almost allows me to give them grace, right? As I've done myself, and I felt like that was so difficult because before I would just sit in the feeling of shame for so long that I was like, if I feel this,
Yeah.
and if you do something bad, you should feel this. And it didn't make sense to me when people seemed like they just didn't feel anything about their wrongdoings, but only to find out that things had happened to them prior.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's actually a really fucking big deal.
Let me ask you a question here. How do you feel about casual relationships?
I am fine with them, to be honest.
Is that something that you're fine with now you couldn't have been before? Like, is that an evolution of just your relationship style?
Actually, I was, okay, so something about me is I was almost always in long-term relationships.
Yeah.
The longest one after that was the first time I had been in a casual relationship. Prior to those relationships, I've had opportunities that I never ever took because I never thought I was that guy. Right? I was like, oh, I'm kind of more of a relationship type of guy, but I was also a person that made up my mind before I've tried anything.
No, I get that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, no, I'm someone's boyfriend. I'm not here to just have casual sex. And then after the 10-year relationship, I was like, okay, well, do I really fucking know anything? I was wrong. I was wrong for these whole 10 years. Like, let me fucking see what's out there, And to be honest, like the first time I did it, like the first time I had casual sex, and this is nothing against the person I had it with. Like, unfortunate for her to do a deed with me, but I was like, damn, I don't feel anything, and I thought that was so strange. When people have told me like it feels empty, and some people tell me like they love it. I was the guy that felt empty, and I was like, oh shit, maybe I was right. Maybe I'm not this guy. And then couple months later, came along another person. And I was like, you know what? Like, let me try this again. Maybe that was just a fluke or something. And when it happened, I was like, oh, I actually enjoy this. And that was the first time I understood what sexual chemistry was.
Ooh,
and that to me is very
grew up.
different than just chemistry in a relationship. And I think you don't have to have both all the time. You can have one or the other, which is unfortunate sometimes because I don't, in relationships, I don't think you're always going to have the same sexual chemistry, right? Like, I feel like that can fade. The longer you have a relationship, it tends to happen and it becomes more of a effort to get to that same point. That's what I've experienced, right? Like, at the end of my 10-year relationship, I think we had sex one time in the last year,
Wow.
And funny enough, in my other relationships, that's what happened too. Like, the last year, maybe it was just one time. And I think the way I've come to understand it is I don't even know how, because there's so many definitions out there. I don't even know how to describe myself. But basically, I am very reflective of the person that I'm with, like, sexually. Meaning, if they have a huge libido, I'm gonna be the same way. Like, I'm like, all right, let's run it. Let's run it.
Let's
Like
go.
10 times saved, let's run it. Whatever's. But if they're not in the mood, I could go a year without it. And I'm just like, all right, well, I could live with myself. Like, I know I'm not having sex. But that's okay because she doesn't want it either, so I don't either.
That says a lot about, like, the type of guy you are. Like, I can hear that, and I'm like, you're the guy that's always there for his friends. You're the guy that is supportive. You're every shoulder that somebody needs to cry on. Like, you're a good guy for It's hard for people to do that because you can almost put your feelings aside for the feelings of somebody else. You're selfless. Yeah. And if you're able to do that, so yes, that's a compliment because more people in this world, if they had a measure of that, our world would be a utopia. But everybody's thinking the other way. So I don't know. I just hear that and I call it out because I think it's real.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. And I've kind of come to realize why I am the way I am now. Also, I'm okay with casual sex, and I think it could be great. You know, I've had great experiences. I do also think that if it's not, and this is how it should be, to be honest, if it's not fully consensual, to me, it just feels so wrong. And what I mean is like not fully consensual, as in like they just say yes, but I feel like there's something
Oh,
off.
like there's no feeling to it.
No, not even that. If there's something off, like a hesitation, like they might want it like 70%, but there's a hesitation. Like I've
Are you that like intuitive? Like you can read?
there's that, and also like I've been people where
Superpower, bro.
well, kind of sometimes it's just more so I'm just listening to them.
I got you.
So they'll mention something.
Guys who listen.
Yeah, I guess so. That's why that's why the name. But you know, people who've told me little things like, "Oh, every guy's fucked me over," something like that, right? But they want it, and I'm in my head, I'm like, "Oh, you might want it, but this might actually be destructive for you.
Yeah.
Might not be a good thing." So therefore, even though you say you want it, to me, I'm like, I'm not. You don't want to do this. You know, you're just trying to escape one thing and go into another, right? That to make you feel better for now.
Yeah.
And it might be consensual right now as far as like what you agree with, but I don't think you're gonna get what you want out of this. So then I'll stop myself.
You know what the cure to that is? Older women.
Older women.
Older women.
Really? Okay, I
Older
can kind
women.
of imagine that, to be honest. That I could kind of imagine.
They know what they want. They're not here for the bullshit. And they're down to use you for the thing just as much as you would be willing to use them. Like older women, especially if they've been through a divorce, it's 100%. It's like they approach it like a business transaction. It's like, all right, young blood. You know, I'm 45. Up in like with the beard, I can look 45, but when I shave the beard, I look like a damn kid. I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
And so you walk up to an older woman who's out on the prowl, a cougar, if you will.
Yeah.
And you're talking like an older guy. She's like, but he looks like she's going to approach you with a business transaction. Those that I found in my 30s, it was a glorious time because that was it. I didn't want to deal with the younger ones that put me through the ringer because they didn't know just as much as I didn't know. I became the man I am because I learned how to be a man who was in his own because so many women in Corona Del Mar, Newport Coast, and Newport Beach used me and abused me through and through these one night stands, 1 month stands, 3 month business contracts, whatever. You learn the nature of relationships. You know, I finally found somebody that was like, I don't care about your bullshit. That's not what this is about. We're going to go have dinner. We're going to have fun. And that's what it's about. And if tonight we fuck, we fuck. If tonight we don't fuck, guess what? We had dinner. I want a conversation. You're going to talk to me about politics, so you better study up. Like, whoa, okay.
Interesting.
Different level.
That sounds very different.
Those are the casual relationships that I find that I want a lot more of in my life. It's the only reason I'm single now, because those are the casual relationships. I have a good stable. It's a horrible way to describe it. Nobody judge me, please.
Yeah.
But I have a stable where there is a regularity, and it has nothing to. And the beauty of it is, it has nothing to do with me. These are people that I fit a need, and sometimes it's just conversation. Sometimes it's just dinner. They don't always pay. Sometimes I pay. I take them out on the boat. We have fun. It's somebody that wants to escape a past life and just enjoy a moment here and now. Those are the relationships that I want.
Oh, that's very different. I've this is gonna sound bad too. Like I've never been with an older woman, but I could see that. Like I think it makes sense to me being a guy in like my mid-30s that that's kind of where people are at. You know, like I was mentioning before, when we're younger and we don't know what we want, we have to experience it, right? To kind of figure out what we don't and what we do like. But once you get to that point where you've gone through all the bullshit, it's just clear what you're here for. And I mean, maybe transactional is a word that people don't like hearing, but maybe that's the best way to describe it. Because I think for me, you know, going back to what you were asking me before, please. I have a hard time seeing it as transactional because I feel like they don't know exactly what they want. Or maybe, again, actually, this is maybe my fault because I always believe that, and this is a flaw in my thinking, that women can't, not saying they can't, but most of the time they don't just want a casual encounter. And I know that's 100% wrong. You know, I know that as a fact. But whatever it is, it's always steering me away from that. And I think it has something to do with me not wanting to be wrong about that. The times where I do take that chance.
And what if you are wrong?
You know what? Funny
Go,
enough.
go fuck up.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
make the mistake. You'll have fun.
I agree. And funny enough, like the way I approach life is very much like that, except for when it comes to that.
Got it. Now, is that because of the types of relationships? We had? Long relationships, especially like, I mean, I think you said 10 years. That's not a that is beyond. That's a lifetime.
Yeah,
You know, and an imprint happens, whether you on her or her on you. That's with you for life, and it changes you. So I get what you're saying, and I understand that. But do you think that it is because of, you know, the way you've had your past relationship? Do you ever see yourself finding a way to move away from that, to allow you to kind of break that? Because it's all in here.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Please don't.
I
lie.
have found myself questioning that, but I'm just gonna say that I'm too scared to even approach it. The idea.
Men, no offense to men out there watching, or if you think you're a man, that's not easy for men to say. It's not even for a person to say, because you have to have a confidence in self, to be introspective in a way where you're bringing fault. I am admitting fault. And it's a huge one. But in your humility of accepting it, it's not defeat. It's a realization, and you're going to work on it.
Yeah, I actually don't even know how to work on it, to be honest.
That's the journey of life,
Yeah.
though. That's the experience that you're going to go out there and find.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And so, you know how I was mentioning I don't want to guess wrong and make that mistake. I've this is a thought, like how I should approach it was that maybe I just go out there, you know, because one of the things that I don't even want to get wrong is assuming that someone's even attracted to me, right? So for me to flirt with someone, even if it's harmless, feels like, oh, they're not interested, now I'm wrong and I should have not done it at all. But I'm trying to think in a way where it's like, if it's harmless, who cares? Because what's the worst I did? Say something fucking nice?
Do you own a mirror?
I do.
Do you look in it every once in a while?
I do.
You're a pretty good looking guy, dude. Like there is going to be an attraction on the other end. And again, this is me. I'm not going to even pretend to be somebody that knows anything that you've gone through other than what you've shared. But from the experiences that I've had where I've put that out there and I'm like, I'm afraid that it's not going to be a reciprocated thing. After you put yourself out there, you'll find that everybody thinks that. So the ones that stand out are the ones that fight through that. And those are the ones that get the results. The reason why douchebags got all the girls is because they're the only ones that approach them. Everybody else is too afraid. We're all in the back, up on the wall at the dance, freaking sipping our Kool-Aid, freaking geeking out about Naruto or some shit like that, right? And the douchebags, they don't give a flying fuck. What's up, babe? You're mine. Oh my God, you talk to me. All they want is attention, right?
Yeah.
But and that's why, like, I love this journey that you have where you're going through that. I've experienced it through my own eyes, through my own experiences, and I've come out probably a fucked up version of, hopefully, you know, a good man someday. But I love hearing that because I can give you hope. I came out. I'm okay. And you're going to be okay.
Yeah, no, I see, but that's the thing too, is that I feel like I am coping by saying that I'm okay with being alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why do I need to approach anyone? I'm okay with being alone.
Yeah.
Like, why do I need to flirt with anyone? I'm okay with being alone. But that's just me, maybe a cop out, you know? And that's the way I'm kind of understanding now. I'm fighting through that feeling and those thoughts that are like walls that are stopping me from even saying something nice to someone.
Yeah.
Because, funny enough, I actually spoke to one of my friends, Christina, and she was saying that, oh, you know, everyone that you've been with is someone who's basically giving you the green light. I'm like, yeah. And she was like, you need to start chasing people. Like, that you want to talk to, you know? Stop just allowing people to say that, you know, give you hints that they like you and accepting that and be like, okay, I guess we're dating now, or I guess we'll do this or that. Like, why not go after the person that you want to say things to? And to be honest, I actually have been thinking that more. And I'm like, damn, is it because I've been on a dry spell for 3 years, or do I really fucking think this, you know?
Go out there and get addicted to the chase.
Yeah. But also at the same time, like, I should also be thinking, funny enough, right? Because in every other situation, I really don't fucking care about making a fool of myself or being wrong. I'll learn from it. I'll move on. For some weird reason, maybe because this is so embedded in me for so long to be like this, that it's probably one of my biggest fears, you know? And I just need to get over it somehow. And funny enough, like, this is a podcast about relationships, right? And here I am, a guy who's not even fucking dating, talking about this shit. But also, you know, being in this position where, you know, I'm sure other people, a lot of people more now than ever who are in longer, like, single stints, celibacy stints, like, they're probably going through the same shit, you know? And just to say, because some people will tell me, like, oh, I'm surprised with you. I'm like, nah, dude, don't be surprised. Like, I'm no different than you are, you know? I have my own fucking insecurities, things that I'm going through, things that even have self-doubt about things that I thought I was so concrete on before. And that's probably the most, like, glass-shattering thing to me was I thought I was so fucking sure, you know? And now I'm not so sure.
So where do you go from here?
And the funny thing is, I know where I should go, and that is
Therapy.
to where I'm
Therapy. That's where I
do therapy.
So much therapy.
Do you know what Foxfire is?
Foxfire.
I used to be a cougar bar, but anyways, I'll say Foxfire.
Quiet woman. Quiet Women in Corona Del Mar was my stomping ground.
Oh, really?
But Foxfire, where's Foxfire?
I think it was somewhere around there too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Oh no, it was in Anaheim, I think. But I haven't been there for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I just need to go to where I feel fucking uncomfortable and just, like, face it.
I like that. Put yourself out there.
I need to. Actually, funny enough, I was telling Hector this, how I'm terrible at flirting with people that I feel like maybe it might not be reciprocated. And he told me one night, and this, just to put in context, Hector's our gay friend. And Hector's like, Pete, you're going to go flirt with some bitches tonight. Let's go. Ooh. And I was like, what?
You got to love the confidence of the gay friend.
I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, you could do this. You could totally do this. This is so easy for you. You should go out there and let's go tonight. Obviously, he was so drunk that he didn't even make it. But he actually, at the time, if he actually came out, not out the closet, he came out that way. But if he actually came out to go out, I probably would have been less resistant to it for sure. And I don't know if I'm not saying like I need my fucking friends to hold my hands, but definitely
but you need a support system, man.
Yeah, someone
you need your entourage.
You know, because I've never actually had that in terms of going out to meet people, right? I've never had a group of friends because, you know, funny enough, me and my group of friends, we go out and we drink. And that's all we care about is getting plastered, right? Nice. We don't go out and we're like, oh, where are the fucking bitches at? Nothing like that ever. But I see guys that do that. Like I have guy friends who like, oh, dude, just go there. There's like a bunch of hot girls, and then we'll go talk to them, whatever. So I'm like, huh. And I never thought anything of it before because maybe I was always in a relationship. But now I'm like, oh, I can see why that could help boost your confidence enough for you to attempt that.
I like to think you didn't go out with your friends and where the bitch at because you guys were just classy gentlemen, dude.
Yeah, one way to describe it. That's for sure.
You guys were just good guys. Everybody needs it. But what's crazy is that I'm sitting here listening to you be honest and open and vulnerable. Thank you for that. Like, I think it's rad anytime anybody can speak from within. But, bro, like, look at what you do. All you do is talk, and you do it well. I've seen your podcasts. And so for me to sit here and hear you say, oh, I have this challenge, I'm like, does he though? Because I mean, you can bring anybody here, nobody that you've ever met, nobody that you've ever known, and it's easy there. So what is it that's different about this space and what you've done to create this space that is different than the space that you have built when it comes to talking with girls?
I think
and
that's
how can
exactly
we crash
it.
Those worlds together, dude?
I think that's exactly it, dude. Like it feels like my space. Yeah. You know? But being out there doesn't feel like my space. It feels foreign almost.
I get that.
You know, it's almost like I'm walking into their territory, right? And yeah, I guess that makes me nervous in some ways. And
as it should.
You know, again, I think I've said this at least like twice that I'm gonna be more adamant about going out and doing this. I just feel I definitely, and this is me being honest, I've definitely made a list of excuses when it comes to that moment, right? When it appears in front of me, I'm always like, oh, I'm here for my friend's birthday. They're gonna be mad that I'm missing hitting on some girls, right? Even though I wasn't really gonna do it anyways. But that's how I'll like rationalize that to
No,
myself.
no, I get that. How do we? When am I going to go out with you so that I can be all the big dick energy that you need? I am as much like I started this by letting y'all know that I love the sound of my voice. There is nobody out there that I have blind confidence, and I call it blind because I just automatically assume, oh, you are into me. That is the fallacy of me. It's like I've already made a fool of myself in my mind. So usually they're like, wow, they mistake it for confidence, right?
Oh, wow,
Because
that's
I'm just
powerful.
walking up to them.
That's
Right?
powerful,
I'm
dude.
just walking up to them, talking to them, like, who is this guy? And I'm just talking normal because in my mind, I've already fucked up a million ways and you've already spat on me, kicked me, shit me, da, 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 da. So anything that happens is a win.
That's so
I have
interesting.
blind confidence, and it has gotten me so far in life. I am lucky. My friends look at me, they're like, oh, you're talented. Nope. I'm just I'm dumb. I just put my head down and swear, convince myself I can do it.
Yeah.
And then you end up going and doing it.
No, I feel that. And going back to it, that's how I feel about a lot of things, right? It's just not that. And I have
Again,
he's
you've done it.
all right,
I love it.
One of my co-hosts, he's not on here right now, he's MIA, but he is very similar in that aspect, especially about women. He says this things like, if a girl is single and you guys are friends, there's always a chance. He's like, if I'm friends with you and you're single, there's a chance that we might get together. And I'm like, wow, that's insane. That's so insane to me to hear that. But he
Humans
says it
have needs.
with unwavering confidence that no, it's true though.
All it
might
takes
be
is
insane,
alcohol.
but it's true.
And especially, so this is why I believe you have it. You can talk. You're a great conversationalist. How many women have you ever heard complain about it? Nobody listens to me. You know how to listen, and then you know how to respond, and you know how to lead a conversation. If you ever get confidence, though, it is over for every other man. I'm telling you that. You would win. I would lay down and be like, fine, I'll take second place.
I don't know about all that. You kind of boost my confidence right now, though. Right? See, that's one way I feel like I should think about it too, just to like gamify it and not put so much pressure on myself to do it. And I've done it maybe, and I've actually done it where I've like spoke to a woman with the intention of flirting with them, like maybe 2 times in my life, and it actually went well too. So it's not because of my track record that I feel like, oh fuck, I don't got game, It's not that. I think what it is like, how do I do it to where it's authentic to me?
I love that.
Like I read this book called The Game, and it's about like pickup artists, and I was like, this is not fucking me, This is not me. Like they were talking about neggings, to where it's like, you basically don't give them the attention that they need, and you say something kind of like backhanded to like get them to come to you more so. And I was like, I don't feel like I need to do it that way for it to work.
And
I think I just have not found my voice to where, because again, I don't want to speak unauthentically. But there is some kind of mental block that's in my mind that's not allowing me to say the authentic words. Really weird. So, a common example that happens to me is, I'll go out and let's say I wear my favorite jacket or something. And, recently this happened. This girl came up to me and she was like, oh, I really love like your sweater. I was like, oh, thank you. And she's like, it feels really nice. And in my head, I was like, oh, you kind of look cute. But I was like, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And then she said some kind of out of pocket shit because she was drunk. But she was, hopefully she doesn't hear this. But she said, she's like, I'm kind of sweaty. I wish I had something to dry me off. And I was like, there's no napkins here. Sorry. Like, you might have to go to the bar. And then she just looked at me, and like her friends were leaving. I was like, you should go with them. Then I shoot her away. But, yeah. But, in my mind, at the initial point, I was like, oh, she's kind of cute. But it didn't come out of my mouth. It was just like, yeah, thank you.
You don't think like that, which I think is actually fine. Like hearing a story like that, like you were given an opportunity, you recognize the opportunity, but if it's not natural for you to go that way, that wasn't it.
See, I'm
That
wondering though,
wasn't it.
because is that not natural to me because of something that's happened to me that's causing me to be so reluctant to say it?
Potentially.
Yeah. And that's why I'm trying to understand, is it not natural to me to feel that, or is it not natural to me to say it because of something that's happened? And I'm having a hard time differentiating between that because, knowing my track record, I've definitely felt like saying it, and but for whatever reason I can't.
Got you.
And this is I've mentioned a lot of times too, and I had some guests who came on. Like even if I mean it in a platonic way, it's really difficult. Like I can't tell my female friends if they like look nice today that they look nice. I can't even do that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It goes far.
And that wow was not anything like it was a wow like I understood the depth. That was very telling, and like I understood in a different way when you meant like, because to me, I don't care if you're married, not married, lesbian, gay, straight, bi, you're into me, I'm into you, we're not into each other. If somebody looks good, you look good.
Yeah.
And that's it. You look great. I like you. Love your hair. I wish I had it. Compliments are compliments, right?
Yeah.
But then to be able to be like, oh shit, I shouldn't. There is something. You can go on a journey to find that out, dude.
No, dude. I've actually been thinking about taking mushrooms lately.
Just came from Coachella. Did a lot of that.
Yeah.
This tan is golden brown because I spent a weekend baking in the desert. It was amazing. So yeah.
Sounds like you had a good time. I saw the post.
First one. Pop my cello cherries.
What? That was your first
Yeah.
one? Holy cow.
45, first one. It was like I want to go back time and time again. Like
That's awesome.
so much, like just you forget in life because of life and you're living it, just how fucking rad music is, right? And people that are a lot more into it than you, but then you can enjoy. I like being on the farm. I'm an old man. I need to save my ears, so I'm in the back, and so I get to watch everybody. But then I get to experience it a different way, and yeah.
That's awesome. Man, that's awesome. That's your first one, like in your 40s, because for me, that's the one thing I want to normalize. It's like the things that people say that you're too old for. Like, I don't fucking care. I've heard that shit forever, even from when I was in my 20s by people who were like 18, 19, where I'm just like, dude, like, okay, what the fuck do you know? Like,
Exactly.
you're too young to fucking even understand. And as you get older, it's like, to me, it makes sense. And for people to feel ashamed because other people shame them, like, it's such a shit fucking thing to do. And now I'm like, I think for a while I've been a big advocate of it, but even more so now, where I'm just like, dude, just do you, as long as you're not harming anyone, who fucking cares, dude?
The world needs more of you, man. We're gonna create a monster, ladies and gentlemen. Watch out.
Dude, I don't know if I can, because actually one of my friends, her name's Cindy, she's been on the podcast before. She always fucks around with me. She's always like, oh, I know you're a dog, like deep inside. And I'm like, nah, I'm not. And then as time goes on and she's gotten to know me better, she's like, oh, wow, maybe you're just like a puppy.
You were? Oh, that's beautiful. She's a good friend.
She is. A lot of my friends are very supportive. They also understand to not go into the dark side and be a monster, They're like, don't be like the other fucking guys. And I don't want to use the word jealous, but because, my lack of vocabulary. But sometimes I'm like, oh, when they go out and have fun, like some of my other guy friends who go out and they seem to don't have any hesitation about going out to talk to someone, I'm just like, oh, that seems kind of nice. Like I could talk, actually, and don't get me wrong too. I know you're saying that I'm good at having conversation. I can have conversation with women, but in a non-flirtatious way.
Got you.
Yeah.
It's the flirtatious part.
That's the blockage right there. Mm-hmm. All right, Shamel, enough about me. 'Cause you can talk about how damaged I am all night. But I want to ask you, because what you were saying earlier, how your approach is that, and I think this is valuable, right? In how you could not take things seriously because in your mind already, all the bad things has already happened. So if there's a positive outcome to you talking to a woman or anyone, I'm sure that's how you feel. How do you get into that mindset? Was that something you always had? something you had to learn?
Great question, because I had a childhood that made me. So right now, you were just sharing how sometimes you see your friends doing the thing and you're like, that looks nice. So I had a childhood where I was staring at people on playgrounds doing the thing I wanted, in classrooms doing the thing I wanted, at recess doing the thing I wanted. And then when I grew up, those guys that are going to the races and I wanted to go and I can't, those guys that are going clubbing, these guys that are going partying, I'm going to the mosque with my mom. I lived a life of longing and wanting to the point where I hit that switch, that flip side, and I shared earlier some of the pitfalls of running at it a little too hard, thinking I knew what I wanted, and a handful of ruined relationships. But then, when that switch happened where I stopped doing it for everybody other than myself, I didn't start with confidence. I stumbled my way to the point where I just stopped giving a fuck. And it came with, like, I'm lucky that I have a penchant to be humorous. So cracking jokes and getting people to laugh, all of a sudden they like you. And I'm like, cool. So now I know if I make you laugh, you're going to be able to support me. Because that's how I was thinking. I never had that support in the past, so I got to keep that with you. And then being a little selfless, I've learned over time, the more selfless you are for a purpose, for an intent, God, people love that. Because nobody wants to do anything for somebody else. Everybody wants to do everything for themselves, which is why I'm complimenting you for being able to do that, because I know the value in that. And so these new experiences, now that I'm older, now that I'm wiser, now that I got the gray in my beard, now that I know how to look back and be introspective and think, those were the mistakes. This is what I learned from them. This is what I want to do. I fucked up forever in order to be able to have the confidence that I have. Came about at 35. I'm at the peak of whatever I was at. I'm literally working at Apple, best job on the planet, making more money than I deserve. If I'm not screwing the people that I'm working with, that night I'm going to the bars around screwing the women that are going to house me for the weekend.
Oh, wow.
Right? Mind you, because I'm commuting back and forth from Rancho. So my game was, if I can go Friday night, find a lady at the Quiet Woman. I always had an overnight bag packed. My friends all knew it.
Yeah.
Why does Shamel have an overnight bag? Because you never know. And stay ready till you don't get ready. R.I.P. Kobe Bryant, right? And so my game is, let me find that Friday night hookup that I can turn into a weekend stay. Bro, I'm staying in Newport Coast. I'm staying in Waterfront this. I'm staying that. And it only takes once for you to win at that to just, it's a new drug. It's a different type of a drug, and you got hooked.
Oh, wow.
And that was it. Like, I mean, I just stayed believing in myself that I can do it. And the confidence came. I never knew I was confident until people started telling me, you got the confidence of XYZ. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I'm just going to go and do what I want. I just don't want to commute home. Like, it was for a dumb reason, but,
as long as I don't have to drive
right,
home.
as long as it's a 40-mile drive, dude. It's
that's a long
crazy
commute.
at night. And so, that starts happening. And then after a while, you sit back and you're like, fuck, if I did that, I really could do anything. And then you just believe. All you have to do is just believe in yourself. And it sounds cheesy, and it kind of is, but I would never know how to believe in myself if I wasn't always believing in others. You can do it too. Come on, come with me. I'm gonna show you how to do it. Really? And then I do it, and they're like, how the fuck did you do that? I don't know. I just did it. But you just do the same thing. And they do the same thing, but they failed. Oh, maybe it is you. So then I am different. Oh, shit. I am that guy. You start talking to yourself like that. I have conversations with myself in the mirror. I hype myself up. I'm my own hype man, right? How do I approach every day with myself? I tell myself I can do it. I believe I can do it. And if for some reason I'm not doing it, I just go to the bathroom, stare myself in the, damn, you're handsome. Damn, you can do it. Oh, you're going to get this. Boom. And all of a sudden you go to mind shift, right? Sounds cheesy, sounds lame, and I've given you the most basic version of what everybody that is successful has ever done.
Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot more lately, and I, in different ways, do that. I mean, I talk to myself when it comes to, projects, business, things like that, and I do believe myself to where it might be blind sometimes about the most random shit, right? And I'll get away with it. I'm not gonna lie, I do get away with a lot of things that I shouldn't, but I've just never thought about it in that form, and I think that's interesting because you're able to take that and put it into every other aspect of your life. That's one aspect of my life that I've never been able to put that into. And, I think I just thought about it as two different things. Me being good at any of the other things that I'm good at, I just think that required that specific practice to get to that point versus the other things, such as approaching women, which I never do. So therefore, how can I possibly be good at it, right? So even though I might be good at holding conversation, that doesn't mean I'm good at making romantic advances, right? But now that you're telling me this, and that's your approach, and I hear this from a lot of people now, and you just put it in a perspective that I can understand it, to where it's like, oh, you can take that, like that self-worth and that value that you hold yourself up to and place it into different parts of your personality.
Maybe it's because I don't know boundaries sometimes, right? And like when you turn that in, if I'm not creating boundaries, I'm not building the walls that's stopping me from thinking that this can go to this, can go to that, can go to that.
Yeah.
Where somebody, and I'm not, only because you said something, and I was tapping because I'm like, did he just tell himself, I can't put this into this? Mm-hmm. Well, then if you just start saying, I can find a way to make these work together, all of a sudden that wall that used to be there figuratively is diminished or eliminated. And then all of a sudden you're doing the thing that you weren't doing before. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's because I'm too stupid to build a wall, or I don't like segmenting things. I like mashing things together.
Yeah.
Who here doesn't like a burrito because it's just a mashup of everything you love just together? Right? That was horrible. Pause. No diddy.
No diddy.
Who doesn't like it because it's just a mashup of everything, and then all those flavors that, brother, why is it all mashed up? Because they work so well together, and then they create a completely different experience. Right? That's how I approach it. Mash everything together, and what works will work, and what doesn't. I have a beautiful, 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 really tight-knit stable of friends. Who, when they watch this, they know I'm talking about them right now. I don't even need to name drop them because they know that they're the ones that keep me in check. I have a beautiful woman in my life that the moment I mess up, I know that she will come at me with the wrath my mother would. And I would gladly accept it because if I got her to that point, I deserve whatever's coming. I have a friend that was not afraid to tell me, you're an idiot, right? Because sometimes anybody with the blind confidence that I have, sometimes you lose sight of reality, and who do you have to keep you in check? And so shout out to the chairman of the board. That's our chat name. And I am, I bounce off of every wall to experience everything because I guess maybe I have a safety net that allows me to be reeled in if I ever do get out of hand. I don't think they really have to do it often. I think so. Maybe I believe that, but I'm pretty sure they're not. It's not like an everyday thing. They're like, Shamel, stop.
Yeah.
But I have heard them every once in a while. Shamel, you're done.
That's great. I think that's somewhat similar in my position too. I think I have a lot of people to check me that I respect their opinions on. I think because I'm always allowing people to do that, they rarely want to check me on that side of things. Because they're like, okay, if I can help him in every other aspect and he respects me and like he's not really doing anything wrong here, because it's who's gonna be like, oh, you don't hit on enough women, right? Like that, they're not gonna say it's like, all right, Pete, you're fucking up right now. You're not hanging on enough women. So therefore, they're probably not gonna give me that feedback, right? I mean, unless I hang out with my friends who are like complete dogs, but then they'll just tell me on every fucking single thing out there, right? Yeah, they don't give a fuck, dude.
Do it, man.
So that's why I feel like I'm in a strange place.
Gotcha.
It's like I could feel comfortable with not having to do that because again, I've convinced myself that I'm okay with being alone forever. You know, and my friends don't have a problem with the way I'm acting. You know, maybe my family kind of does, because my mom's always like, when do you get bring someone around, you know? So I'm like, what the hell do you mean? I'm cool with being alone. It's like, no, you're not.
It's like, Mom, you just don't
Yeah,
understand.
you
I
just
have
don't get it.
personalities.
Yeah,
Like
you don't get it. I'm woke.
I'm never
you know?
alone.
Yeah, it's different.
It's gonna sound weird, but I mean, just for the sake of conversation, like, have you ever asked your friends, hey, like, what should I do differently? When you tell me go talk to more women, how should I talk to them? Show me, walk me here, hold my hand, I'm a baby, guide me, right?
Yeah.
Get a woman's perspective, get a man's perspective, and then I think you're sharp enough to where you can extrapolate data and then figure something out. I mean, you probably do that with everything in your life. You told me earlier you like to critical think about things, and that's how something like this came about. So I like it. Gamify it, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, you come here, tell me. Interview in a different way, how to talk to women.
That would be actually kind of a fun project. And that's actually one of the things I was thinking about in order to help with the podcast, was
Yee.
kind of be my own experiment.
Bro, that's magic. No, that would be so rad. Number one, I'm a huge fan of anybody that doesn't mind being their own guinea pig. Because it does take a huge measure of confidence or stupidity. But in this case, it's definitely confidence. And that means that you have it in you. If you're willing to be like, no, I'm freaking do it. It's not just for the platform, although it is a phenomenal idea for something like this. I think that would actually smack. At the same time, like you're never afraid to put yourself out there. You're willing to put yourself out there on display to everybody here,
Yeah.
and have people come up and be like, try this, and will you take cameras into the field? Will we get to watch you try and potentially fail, but ultimately succeed? Because we lift kings up here.
Yeah, possibly, because I think it might not even have to do with anything. Well, it'll probably have to do with things that we're talking about as far as like approaching women, but I want to also make it about the things that just make me feel uncomfortable in general. So I heard about this project a long time ago. I actually made my cousin listen to it. It's called 100 Days of Failure. And this dude who basically grew up his whole life being afraid of being rejected, failure, and how it's impacted his life. And eventually I think he read a book. It's been a long time since I listened to this, but he was like, okay, why don't I attempt to fail, and I'll record it for like 100 days. So the goal is to actually fail. It's to not even to succeed. So it's to push what you do as far as you can go until you fail. So if you succeed, it's like you didn't go far enough. So he'll do something as like he'll go up to security guards and he'll ask them for money. He'll be like, "Hey, can I borrow $100?" And one of the things he said was, at the moment when he asked the security guard, when he rewatched the video, before the security guard could fully say anything, he ran away. Because he was so scared of the rejection.
I don't want to get tased. Don't
And
tase
then
me, bro.
when he rewatched it, he noticed the security guard said, like, why? And he was like, oh, he didn't even say no. He actually asked, like, why? He wanted a reason, you know? And then that kind of clicked in his head, like, oh, maybe people aren't so quick to turn me down. Like, maybe there is a way to, get a yes out of this weird situation. So then he started going out and doing more things. Like he would ask to be a greeter at Starbucks, even though he doesn't work there. Things like that. He would ask to plant plants in people's houses. And then he started seeing like more yeses. And then after he was still, hear no's, but what would happen is he would figure out how to turn those no's into yeses. And that built up his confidence after 100 days of this project. And I think that was actually an amazing project when I first heard about it.
That sounds fun.
It does, right?
That sounds like a journey. Like there has to be a lot of failure in 100 days of failing. That's over 3 months. Like I don't even know the mind games that you would start playing with yourself if that happened. But if you're putting yourself out there and you're getting experiences, in my mind, you're always growing from them, as he ultimately showed us that he did. I think that's rad, dude.
Yeah. I think so
100
too.
Days of,
Failure.
and it's a book or is it a video series?
I don't know if he made a book out of it, but it was a TED talk, and that was like his talk that he was talking about. He was just mentioning like how he realized the fear of failure really made him fall behind in life because all the things that he actually wanted to attempt was safe or comfortable, and he knew that in order for him to succeed, the things that he wanted to be good at, he would have to face his fear of failure. So that's why he would ask things that, normally you would get no's to. Like I think he went to McDonald's and he asked for a refill on fries. Things like that. And it's not harming anyone. It's just, it's like they say, like, what's the worst thing you say? It's like, no. And he just attempted that on everything they did. And it's true though. Like I've definitely gone through some stuff where I thought to myself like, oh, I feel like people would say no. But I was like, fuck you, who cares? Like, and it's funny because you usually do it in positions where you feel like it would not be detrimental to your life, either because you'll never see the person again. That's a really easy way of testing that, right? Is like for me, when I'm traveling, I'm way more courageous.
Yeah.
I'm like, this person will never see me again.
Right.
It's fine. We could talk about whatever's, say dumb shit, like it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But why can't I do it in an area where it's like maybe I'm more local to, but I still most likely will never see these people again.
100%. You can go one city over and that person doesn't know you exist and will never. And if they do, they'll be like, "Are you?" And you'd be like, and just walk away. Like, what are they gonna? They don't know you.
Yeah.
It's funny you said, because a lot of that, when I started shifting into finding this confidence, the blind confidence came from me. Like as I'm walking through. What park was it? The roller coaster, Magic Mountain. Mm-hmm. My friends, we'd go like every summer. And I was the guy that was walking around and I'd be pointing and everybody would look and then I'd just be like I wasn't playing with my nails. I was pointing. And then when they look at it and everyone's around me, why are you doing that? I'm like, what? Are they going to know me ever? See me again? I'd be the guy that would walk up and randomly talk to somebody about nothing. And conversations would be had. They're like, how do you do that? It's like, I don't care. Like, even if they think I'm the dumbest human alive, I got a conversation out of them and I'm hopefully learned something, but they're never going to see me again.
Yeah. And I think that's something that, as you get older, it's almost as if you feel like there's more repercussions to doing something like that. And I don't think that's necessarily true because now that we talk about it, I remember I used to do, for lack of a better word, dumbass shit like that all the time. I remember being in middle school and funny enough, I actually met one of my best friends through doing something like that. And because I don't know, I like when I was younger, I used to be known as like the kid who would freeload, and I would just made a joke out of it. So during lunch, I would literally go up to strangers, and if they had a bag of chips, I'd be like, "Can I get some of that?" And I would just ask. And one of my best friends at the time, he hated me, right? Because I was just like, "Oh, do I know you?" And he's like, "No." And then I put my hand in his bag of chips, like, "Let me get to know you." And he was like, "Who the fuck are you?" But eventually we became really good friends.
Here you go, dude. So many years later.
Yeah. Because maybe they would have been slightly mad, especially as kids or something like that. But in the very end, who's going to really remember it, The people who don't stick around, then who cares? The people who do stick around, why are they still around? Maybe because something good came out of it, right?
Something. I like that.
So going into... I kind of want to ask you about this because we keep on talking about your blind confidence. Being where you are in life right now, what is something that you feel like you still struggle with then?
The vacuum of blind confidence, the exact opposite end of the spectrum, is, and when I say this, a lot of people don't believe it, but there is a level of insecurity. I am only this confident because deep down inside, I am really insecure about several things. I'm 20 pounds heavier than I want to be. I snore really bad, When I was a kid, like I wasn't born with the enamel fully developed on my teeth. So like teeth would shatter. So like half of my mouth is fake teeth. There's a lot about me that isn't anywhere near perfect or should actually amount to me being the exact opposite of confident. But the crippling fear of actually being mediocre scares the crap. I never want to just be average. What the fuck? Like, how can I not wake up and make somebody happy, make somebody better, accomplish something? Like, imagine if I just went 1 month straight where I just woke up, did the thing, went to sleep. That frightens me. Living with somebody that has blind confidence and knowing that chances are I'll never let myself get there, but what if I am average? What if I do average things? And so for that reason, I'm just extra. I always go overboard, right? It's cyclical because I am afraid of this, I am this, and I am this because I'm afraid of this. And so I feed into fueling myself because the two things that I'm afraid of most in this life, being average and smelling bad. You will not catch me.
Did not expect the second one.
Smelling bad, and most people don't, but you can ask anybody that knows me. You'll remember me for two reasons, because damn, he smelled good, and fuck, he knew what to say when I needed him to say it. And I'm very proud of that. But yeah, smelling bad is I got a shelf of cologne that it's a couple paychecks big for that reason.
That was so good that you were saying all that, because the fear of being mediocre is something that I rarely think about. And, you know, again, just me thinking that being alone is not being mediocre or being any less than. Because I actually, yeah, maybe it's not me coping, but I do believe that. You know, I think we've come to a realization in like society that it's okay for people to be alone, you know, and it's okay for we could thrive like this. And I understand biologically the point is for us to procreate and stuff like that, but we're also not like in the Stone Ages anymore, right? And if anything, we're overpopulated, so I think we'll be okay. But as far as me doing my own, you know, another thing that maybe why I think this way is because I don't care to have kids. And because, you know, me not needing to have kids means that I don't need to be with anyone else, you know, and that aligns. And maybe, again, that's just me coping in many different ways. But I also do think that I'm trying to learn this, that I think I could be a good significant other to someone, and not in a way where I believe that we'll be together forever, but more so in a way that I think I could be a positive to them in their life, you know, like how you're saying, because I could do that for my friends, right?
Yeah.
I could do that for my family, and I feel like I could do that for people that I have intimate relationships with, and I feel like I have, but I also have the difference for me is the fear that I might not be enough for them, even though I can be good for them.
Yeah.
You know, because in the very end, I think out of all the people that you pick to be in your life, the easiest to have and the hardest to let go and fail is your significant other. I feel like having my friends, especially, you know, people that I really, really trust and that I could open up to, it's almost like I can never steer the wrong, like go the wrong way, as long as I'm being honest to them. You know, I've never felt my friends judge me for something that I was honest about. And maybe it's something in my past where I have been honest to my significant other that I felt like I was failing them by not saying the right things, quote unquote. That's where that's why I'm reluctant.
Do you, and I'm going to ask and you don't have to answer, we can move on. Do you believe that you had two significant relationships?
I would say, yeah, two of them were pretty, like the most significant. I've been in, I want to say, really three. And one of them was, not to make it seem like she's not significant. She was, it was just, you know, we were younger.
It was different.
It's one of those things.
I get it. So, then we'll just focus on those two. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that you may have let your significant other down because of either the way you thought, the way you were, the way any of that. Does that stem from because you really do believe that you might have done that?
I think with one of them, I felt like I was not strong enough to be completely honest. And what I mean by that was
I know it.
that person, I knew with my heart and in my mind that I was not good for them.
Wow.
I knew it, you know.
How old were you?
Oh, dude, I was in my 30s. So I think I was 31.
Bro, that was like last year. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, thank you. You're making me blush. But yeah, so I realized early on a couple things, and what a couple things was really big things. And one was that she wanted to have kids and she wanted marriage, and I didn't want either of those things. But you know, I always chalk up to the fact that I believe, like, while we might not be together for any of those things, I could at least be a net positive in your life right now.
Yeah.
Like, I can help you grow, maybe guide you to go in the right way, become a better person, whatever it is. And eventually I saw certain traits, like people would ask her, what about marriage and what about kids? And she would say, oh, I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. And I saw like a shift to where I realized that she was almost trying to accommodate to what I liked in order for this relationship to work out. And, you know, as much as I questioned her about it, she's like, no, that's not true. That's just how I feel now. But I knew, you know, inside I was like, no, you don't.
Girl.
You don't. That's not what you told me. One of your dreams as a child was to get married and have kids. I was like, there's no way that this has just changed. Like something dawned on you, it changed because I didn't see anything that really did change her in life to do that, except for the fact that she's been with me. But that means that I had just been more of an influence than really what's changing her heart, you know? And yeah, I think going back to what I was saying, how I wasn't strong enough, like even though I was so certain, when she would tell me, no, that's how I truly felt, I let off the gas. You know, I'd be like, all right, well, I trust that, you know, you understand yourself that well and that you're being honest with yourself and that's not, your answer is not due to how I feel and what I want. So I'm going to let it go. And because of that, that relationship dragged on for maybe extra 2, maybe in 3 years, to be honest.
So you were mentally or maybe even emotionally like detaching that whole time because in your mind you're like, this person is changing and I don't like what I am making her become. All you're living with all of that in saying you harbored that. How have you let that out?
I mean, now
Is that still in?
no, I mean, I think it's fine now because I would like to. Again, this is just me thinking theoretically because
Gotcha.
I don't know, right? Because I have not been with someone after. I would want to say that I've learned enough and I'm strong enough now to be honest with the person I'm going to be with next. You know, because I basically just allowed that to happen when I knew that wasn't right. You know, because it's how do you tell someone that, like, no, what you're telling me, you're lying. You know, you're lying to yourself. That's really hard, right? And I didn't want to be that person. And she was a little bit younger than me. You know, she was like 6 years younger than me. So I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm older than you. I'm more mature. I understand. I didn't want to downplay her. You know.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna listen to what you're saying. I'm gonna leave it be, even though I still feel very reluctant about it.
Can I ask? In my mind, I know this is a horrible question to ask, especially based on what you told me. Were you looking for a way out of that relationship and you created something that gave you the ability to let off the gas?
That's actually a really good question.
You might not be able to answer it, or you might be in your mind saying, like, I'm going to fucking kill this motherfucker.
No, not at all. I definitely had those moments for sure because I knew that she was trying to hold on to something that, and don't get me wrong, I don't think a relationship ending means that it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Because I think it didn't work out if you came out of it worse, right? I think it works out
Oh,
as long as it, it
that's a
worked
rad
out.
way to
Like,
look at it. Yeah.
you came out of it a better person. Like, how did it not work out? What the hell? That's crazy. Because in your relationship, if working out is if you stay together or not, then only one relationship ever works out in your life if you have them. So I don't think, or at least that's not my mindset. And yeah, in my head, I was like, she wants forever, and I can't give her that.
Mm.
And I did definitely. It's not like I created things, but I knew because there were certain things that kind of came up in the relationship. Like she became a little bit more insecure, and then instead of really comforting her insecurities, I just kept on going with it, you know.
Got it.
But I would also like chalk it up to like, oh, she's being insecure. It's not really a problem, which I personally didn't think it was, but I shouldn't also be adding fuel to the fire, you know. So having a boys' night out where she feels like she wants me to be at home because she doesn't want me to be out with the
Because
boys.
I gave up my dream for him, and now he's leaving me.
that's that's
God,
possibly
I'm
it.
a horrible human. I'm sorry.
No. That's fine. We wish our significant others the best of luck, right? But I did think all the time that if I do this, maybe she'll finally let me go.
Okay,
So I do. Yeah, that was a great
you did
question.
what you did. And I asked that because in the in betweens of the relationships that I told you about, and there was there was one relationship where it got to the point where I knew I wasn't Christian enough for her,
Mm,
nor religious enough for her. So I am not the man. So, like, how do I nuke my own relationship? And on the surface, I'm a great guy, but this is where I was a stupid, horrible child. Like, what are the things I'm saying behind the scenes? How am I making her feel? How am I letting her down?
mm.
These are all things that were premeditated. Like,
Oh wow.
if you took a snapshot of my life in those, I am a horrible human because it's like, wow, that is what psychological manipulation is. That
Yeah.
is what I was gaslighting before gaslighting was, like, because that's what I had to do because I believed that this is a dead relationship. And I wasn't a man enough to be like, either talk my way out or just, I can't be that for you. Like, where do we go from here? That didn't make sense to me. It had to be, you have to not like me and break up with me in order for this to be okay because you have to make the decision. Because on the flip side, in my head, I'm like, oh, she's in love with me. Oh my God. I was this super cocky, conceited idiot of a child where I had to make her break up with me or else it's never going to happen.
Yeah. I
So
feel
that's why I
you.
asked that because I did it before.
Yeah, we can relate on
And
that.
I'm sorry.
It,
Sorry to so many people, but
I mean, you're better at it now, right?
I am nowhere near, like, it's again, the introspectiveness, the ability to be like, the fact that I could just talk about it
Mm,
and relate it to a point and then make a lesson out of it. And this is why I'm a better person because I now know that it's not what you do. Talk to people. I'm huge on communication.
mm.
I will awkwardly talk my way out of hey, babe, it's not going to work. Oh, I love you. No, you don't. And this is why. And then let's PowerPoint it, right? I'll make a joke out of it because that's how I deal with awkwardness. But I will bring facts and then just wait until we have a conversation about it because it's going to hurt, but this pain is so much less than emotional scars.
Oh man, I gotta see things the way you see things, dude. Because yeah, I think I've been in that situation so often where it's it's gonna sound so fucking stupid, but I'd rather seem like a bad guy and have them break it off than
Yeah.
me being the person to break it off.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but it's very self-destructive and manipulative at the very least, right? And yeah, I think I'm maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm scared to get into that with another person because what I thought I learned from my 10-year relationship was that like I'm able to draw these boundaries and these lines and stick to my guns and say like this is it, right? I thought I grew from that relationship because that relationship was one that I came back to year after year after year after year, like literally getting dumped every single year, and I would come back, right? Like I would be like, no, I'm gonna win you back.
This is the girl that your mom's like, would you ever take her
Yeah,
back?
yeah,
What's
yeah.
up, mom?
Which, you know, she has, I guess she was right to ask because my
Yeah.
track record was terrible.
There you go. Okay.
But I found, because there was a turning point for me where we finally broke up, and this was like during the 10th year, where she texted me, and I would be the guy who would text you back right away. If I had my phone on me, I would text you back right away. You know, you would always know where I'm at, what I'm doing, if I had my phone on me. Where I saw her text, and I did not respond. And then within like 4 hours, I think, she knew right away. She was like, wow, you always respond to me. That's what she texted me after that.
Ah, that would destroy me.
Yeah. And I said, okay, I can't respond to this now. I've already been radio silent for the last 4 hours.
Dug my grave.
So this is it. You know, I'm not even gonna allow room for closure, because that's what we usually do. Like, oh, why don't we just meet up and talk and have closure, and ends up being sex and whatever. So it's never just closure, right? So I was like, no, I gotta do this and just cold turkey cut the
That's
shit
how
off.
you ended it?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think I was ready for that.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, like, I mean, so this was that big relate. This is the one where you,
Yeah.
I get it. Because after so long, you can only abuse yourself so much. But to just, wow. That was an unexpected way for that story to end.
Yeah.
That's a twist. That's like M. Night Shyamalan, but only in the first movie. And it was good, not the other ones. Wow. Okay. And so going through that, you felt one way, like when you finally made the decision, like where was your mind at while that was going down?
Dude, my mind was, I think I had realized, you know, funny enough, our stories align at this point. I had been so tired of feeling like I have no self-respect for myself, that I've lost myself for this person. Because very similar to your story, I did a lot to keep her around. I did those ridiculous the things I did. So I remember one time she asked me if I could have like a build like Captain America. So then I would fucking eat like everything, go to the gym all the time. I mean, I did not look like him at the very end of the day, but I tried to, you know? Like I sacrificed my health, and like even in the way, because it wasn't in the way that I even wanted to look.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, if that's what you want, I'll do that, you know? And I did so many things. I went to school for her because I was definitely going to be a dropout. And funny enough, like, because so to kind of give some context, she actually broke it off, but she would continue to try to talk to me. And that's when I stopped talking to her, right? Was when she reached out. And during that time, it was probably one of my lowest lows, because I didn't know what was really going on. Because I had moved out so that we could see each other more, and for her to stay with me so that we could help fix our relationship. Didn't work out. I was in my last semester of college. We broke up. I had one class left, and I was like, why did I even go to college? Like, now my reason is gone.
One class
like,
left.
yeah. Well, I actually didn't drop out.
Okay.
I went through with it. I took it. And but during that time, I was really down. You know, I was like, fuck, dude, whatever. So let me just fucking do it, because I've been doing it for these past couple of years.
Yeah.
Let me just get my degree. And then when she like texted me, I was like, you know what? Even though I kind of still did that for you, I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction of knowing that I'm still around. And I didn't do it just to be vindictive. I did it because I also had to pay myself some degree of respect. To where prior it was, dude, like the word simp, you could have easily looked up the word in the dictionary, my face would be there. You know, I did fucking everything. And now people claim that I'm cynical, you know? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I just understand what it's like to be on both sides. And yeah, it's definitely been, that was like my turning point.
You know what lies right in between simp and cynical?
What's that?
Selfish. How can you, who is so selfless, it's easy for you to be selfless, how can you introduce an element of selflessness which gives you your self-worth? I'm selfish to a point. I don't go overboard to where I now take away from others, but I always make sure to pay myself first.
I'm really bad at that. I'm actually terrible at that.
We all are. And even somebody that I'm working on it, but when, my therapist, after God knows how many months of just chipping away, she found out that my selflessness was not selfish enough. Like I was giving away myself, simping to everything, to everyone, because I thought that's what was going to give me worth.
Yeah.
And I was draining my bank account. But then once I started being a little bit more, no, you know what? I'm not going to help you today. Well, why not? Because I want to go on a bike ride. What? But I need you to help me move. I'm sorry. But I had a long week at work. And if I don't get these 4 hours of sun, I won't be able to do it again next week. And I really need to do that. Oh, shit. All right. My bad. I'll get you next time. But today, deuces. And I'm going to go on my bike ride. It's not easy to do that to a friend, to a family member. And yes, that was an extreme case, and I only did that once. That was a little bit too selfish, but can you do that? Are you able to do that? Can you be okay with yourself saying no because you matter more and it does not mean they matter less?
I'm getting better at that.
I like that.
Not
That's a journey.
quite there. Yeah. So one of the things I've talked about on here was that my family has like money issues. And I'm always like, oh, here's money. And I recently had to tell my parents, like, hey, like, I'm sorry, like I can't continue this. And I had to, and this is me being honest, and hopefully my parents don't fucking see this shit, right? But but I had to, like, I've told them I'm already done. Like I can't financially support you anymore. But they still ask. And now it's gotten to the point where I had to lie. And it's a really weird feeling, for me to be like, nah, I got no money for you. Like I'm broke, and still look at my bank account, I'm like, oh, I'm all right. But it's almost like I'm not really lying, but like, do I have to destroy myself in order to do that? It's like, that friend who tells you like they're broke, but like they have money, but it's like, okay, everyone's version of broke is different, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
do you have to be in the negative for you to be broke?
Correct.
Do you have to be like living paycheck to paycheck to be broke? Like, to me, it wasn't really like a lie, but before I saw it as like, if I'm not giving away everything of myself, then maybe I am kind of lying.
See, this is the thing. Like you're broke because you don't have money for them, right? And that's the thing. Like, and that's okay because that's the right type of selfishness. Like in my mind, if I keep giving it away, it doesn't end, and then I'm giving myself away. But like, I can honestly say, I'm sorry, I don't have money to give to you because it's not money that money that you have is for a different purpose. So that money cannot be given to them.
Yeah.
You're saving for a house, a car, a vacation, whatever. It's not theirs. And so because it belongs to you, you can call it whatever you want. And for that reason, that's the type of selfish. Find a way to be okay with that, and you'll unlock the ability for you to do that with a lot of other things.
That's a good point. I think that's gonna be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Because if I could do that, I feel like I'm gonna be able to do it.
That was an Egyptian reference.
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah. No. Thank you, dude. Thank you for that. Really.
Pleasure.
And I don't want to say that you said all that in vain, because I do want to use that and like apply it. Because what is knowledge if you don't apply it, right? But I just, going back to what you were saying, was there a moment like that for you where you're like, hey, I gotta do this for myself. Like, I'm giving away too much of myself. I had a friend who told me like, hey, you want to pour your cup into everyone else's cup, but you're always thirsty, right? And I'm like, oh, that's true. Like, but I feel like I gotta go zero. I gotta go negative to feel like that, And I think that's wrong. There's something in me where it's like, why do I always have to be negative to feel like I've given it my all?
Yeah.
Because it's like something in me doesn't want to give up, to where maybe it's something that I grew up with in my family. Maybe seeing my parents' relationship fail made me want to stick in that 10-year relationship and never give up.
Yeah.
But I had to realize that, like, in a way, I'm not doing myself any favors by doing that. And I'm not doing them any favors too.
Correct.
Indirectly, like if I'm draining myself, not even just money, right? Energy, time, you're not to be of help to anyone if you're of help to everyone, because that's not possible.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just the reality of things. But for you, was there a turning point for that?
Several times in my life, there were many versions of that because I think every relationship and its failure was a mini turning point. And I'm not just saying relationship as in me and a girl, it was friends that have come and gone. But I'm on a seventh iteration of a relationship with my parents because I was a dumb kid and I threw away what they were giving me so many times over that every one of these times was a turning point. But the difference between all of those and what I think was a real one was that those were all real. They all had something to give back to me. The biggest turning point for me where I learned how to properly be selfish for me in 2014, I thought I found the job that I was going to retire from. And you can ask anybody that knows me, my time at Apple, I was 200% there every day. I gave them everything and I was good at what I did. I'm comfortable saying that. It's been told to me a million times and I know that's true because I literally worked at that. And then towards the end, when they were chewing me up and spitting me out, and I'm like, nope, 200% every day because that's all I know how to do. The fuck, what is this? Like, why am I like this? Oh shit, is Apple my identity? Am I anything without this job? No. Right? It's like, fuck. So now at this point, for how long have I been giving 200% thinking I was giving and not realizing that they were taking 200% because I never got anything? Yes, I got money. Yes, I got an insane amount of experience that I've learned so much from Apple. And honestly, if I had to go back, I would do almost everything the same. Just a little bit at the end there, I would have done it a little differently. But when after every single thing that I have done, and then me being honest and open and transparent was the thing that actually caused me to separate. And it left my head spinning. Like, I mean, the collective sound of every human's jaw dropping when they're like, what do you mean Shamel doesn't work for Apple anymore? I took a year as a sabbatical. That's when you met me. It's because I stopped. I like, before Apple, I knew how to be selfish for myself. During Apple, Apple was selfish and they took from me and I forgot how to continue. You have to deposit into your bank account. So the turning point was the 2 months after the separation when the fog was lifted. The Kool-Aid finally got pissed out. I'm no longer the fanboy where I'm like, this is the career. It's like, shit. They gave me enough, but, like now, even a year and a half later, the journey to go get another job, and I was trying to replicate, and I'm like, what is this attachment, right? When you aren't selfish for yourself, you're leaving a hole that gets filled by something else. And it took me a year and a half to expel the demons that were. And so now I like to say I know how to be selfish, but it's still a journey. I'm still learning. I'm still perfecting it, but I'm so much better at it to where, like that example that I gave about, sorry, friend, I'm going to go ride a bike. Like I can do that now. I couldn't do that like 2-3 years ago. And it's because I only knew how to be selfless. Because that was my identity. It's because that's what people saw and that's what people expected. Shit, I'm tired, but I gotta give it. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat.
That makes a lot of sense because to me, when you were talking about that, what I understood was that you could give away yourself to anything. it could be to your career, it could be to your family, it could be to your friends, your significant other. But that's not what you should be doing, right? It's like you don't give yourself away. You give them a piece of yourself, but don't give your whole self away. And I've never understood that because I think going back to how I said when the people called me fat when I was 5 is very similar. I learned the word being selfish was bad, right? Being fat was bad, and I never could escape the definition of that. So it was to me I had to keep on giving because that's like being selfless, right? And I saw that as like a virtuous thing. And now I'm starting to understand, like, oh, it depends on the context.
Context is huge.
Yeah, that's so different because
Vietnamese,
yeah,
Buddhist.
yeah,
Okay, if you put it in context, when I heard it, anybody ever from Vietnam calling you fat, it's probably because they wanted your food, right? That's how I'm thinking it. They're looking at you as like, because that is in that part of the world, and I'm not saying specific to Vietnam, but so many of those cultures, being fat and being fed means that you are prominent. You are living the life.
yeah.
So there's a hint of that's how my mind and my lens. They were just jealous of you.
Yeah,
Dude.
definitely. I
They
can see
wanted
that.
your life.
They were just like, damn, this boy's eating. Fuck. But at the same time, I think there is, it's not in the Vietnamese language and the way people speak. I think it's just really hard to differentiate in the way they mean things, right?
Gotcha.
In some family members' eyes, I'm sure they meant like, oh, he's eating well.
Others.
And then in some others' eyes, it's like, damn, he can eat a little bit less. You know what I mean?
My mom to this day. Why aren't
Yeah.
you losing weight? It's because I'm happy, Mom.
Yeah, happy weight.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for saying all that. Well, I want to say thank you for sharing everything, Shamel. You've opened up my eyes, and hopefully I could go out there and get me some bitches now. I'm just kidding.
Let's go.
Appreciate you. And can you let the audience know where they can find you?
Yeah, easiest place to find me is on a Duffy boat in Newport Harbor because that's my life and I love it, or riding a bike around. But if you're one of those socials type people, I do have a very modest page, Shamelamine_. Just go to learn about me and then connect with me, and then let's learn about life together. Guys that listen is my favorite podcast. Listen to it more, but you're already doing that now. Or my gay bestie. I don't know. Can I shout out a friend?
Yeah,
Is that
of course,
okay?
of course, shout her out.
Just check out my gay bestie. That's another podcast aspiring to be what you are, led by two awesome humans. But the only thing that I care about that I want to share out to y'all, live life, have fun.
Thank you for that. All right, and I want to give a special shout out to the audience for watching this all the way through. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below what you guys want us to talk about next time. And remember, live fast, eat ass.